So we're going to be showing how to do our Pawl Adjuster. We're going to grab our stock from right here. Okay, this is what it looks like. If we notice it has the 2 marks already made, we're going to bring it over to one of our anvils. Notice the difference. This anvil is nice and flat. This anvil is got a texture on it, so don't do it on this anvil. You put hammer marks into it. Either I mark on this one or I mark on my titanium anvil right here. Okay, I'm going to grab a center punch. Okay, notice the difference between a center punch and a transfer punch. I want to grab a center punch. Okay, I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to come in at about 45 degrees from my hole, and I'm going to move it just so that I make it. Now I've made contact. I'm going to tilt up. I'm going to grab my hammer. I'm going to give it a whack. Okay, just like that. Okay, I'm going to do that same process again. Okay, now that they're set, I can make them a little bit bigger if I want to. Remember that it's not a nail. You don't hit it multiple times. You're going to give it one good solid whack. Okay. Now that I have both of those made, you can look at the back and see. We're going to take them over and we're going to punch them with the hand punches. Okay, we have our 1/2 inch punch. We have our 1/8 punch. We'll punch the 1/2 inch first. We're going to come through and now get down so you can see it, right? We're gonna now come down, and this has the same geometry as a transfer punch does, where it's sharp, okay? And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it till it seats. Now that it's seated in there, right, I can move it around until it seats, okay? And now that it's seated in there, I'm gonna come through and I'm going to just punch it, okay? And pull up. When I pull up, I'm gonna gently pull all the way up until it de-seats. That way we minimize this bend. It'll put a small bend into it there like this, okay? Now we're gonna do the same thing over here. On this punch, we'll come through and punch it. This one we have this guide, put it over here, and that prevents that bending as much as possible. All right. So it does still have a slight bend in it, but now I have my main hole and my smaller hole punched. They're going to have a burr on them on this side that gets caught. So we're gonna get rid of that. But first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna gently tap it with a hammer to get rid of that bend, okay? So I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna hit it, just letting the hammer fall on it till I can get rid of that bend. And now that bend is out. It really doesn't take that much, okay? We'll come over. We could put it on our countersink if we want to, on our bird edge. So we're just gonna come up and just press just a little bit, and same thing for our small edge, just a little bit, okay? Now that took off the majority of our burr, but we're still gonna have a micro burr, and this whole piece still has a burr from where it was punched. So we're gonna get rid of all of that on our Scotch-Brite wheel, okay? So we're coming in, just like that, when we're knocking off those edges, okay? Okay, this is a piece of small metal, so high chance to fly out of my hands, high chance to get really hot. I'm gonna come over, get it in the water, and come back, okay? I wanna make sure I hit all my edges. The more effort I put in now, the less effort I have to put in later once it's already bent. Okay? Just like that. Now I'm gonna come in on my hole. Okay, you might get a face on view of that. Okay, so I'm holding here and here, and I'm just coming in to get that hole, and we can now see how it's shiny. Okay? Come on the other side. Okay, be careful, don't lose your grip, and just get that deburred, okay? I can feel there's no more burr on that piece, okay? Now I'm gonna do the same thing for my small hole. Okay, that one should be quick and easy. Now the only ones I need to really worry about is this internal edge that I can't really hit well, okay, here, and this edge that I can't hit well either. So we're gonna do those after we bend, we can get a better angle at it. So we're gonna come back over here. I could also do this on my small anvil. I bring it over to the corner, and I can punch it here just fine. We're gonna look at our instructions, okay, and see that it says stamp on the opposite side. So we're on this side, we're gonna flip it over to the opposite side, and we're gonna stamp it below this line, okay? We're gonna make sure we grab our smaller punches, okay? We're gonna come down lower than that line, and remember, we're just gonna give it one good whack. If you try and tap it, you're gonna put multiple marks in. This isn't a nail, it's a punch, so it's meant to go once, okay? Just like that. If I do miss punch it, right, like that, now look, see how I only got half that 0? What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna move it around, okay? And I'll be able to feel it lock in place, okay? Just like that, it's locked in place. Now what I'm gonna do is I can feel it's locked this way, so I'm gonna tilt it the opposite way and give it a punch. And now it looks like I did it in one go, okay? So now we're punched. We have everything on the Scotch-Brite wheel done. No burrs that I can feel besides these corner burrs. We're gonna come over to our jig. Put it in one of the vices, doesn't matter which one. And now look, this is how I want to bend it, okay? The same as the icon. What I don't want to do, this hole does not line up with this hole, okay? It's a pin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it against the pin, and I'm going to push it all the way down. So it's all the way down seated, and it's all the way against my pin. Now I'm going to put some pressure on it, okay? Hold it in. Now that I feel that it's got tension, I can get my hands out of the way. I can come down, and I can bend it, okay? And pop it back up. This pin here is going to cause this bend here, okay? We want to get rid of this bend now. You'll get points off for that. So now I come over to my titanium anvil. I might grab one of my smaller hammers, like my ball peen hammer instead, which I forgot to grab. I'll grab it. Okay? One of our smaller ball peen hammers. And I'm coming over to the edge of the anvil. And I'm just trying to hit it enough to flatten it out. But not so much that I make it thin. Okay, now you see how that bend's gone. And there's really no considerable hammer mark, right? When we're talking about hammer marks, we mean like, look at the difference, right? See how much this is hammered versus this? Okay, this is good, this is not good. Okay, and you can do that if you hammer too hard, so just hammer soft. Okay, now my numbers are on the right side. Okay, they're on the outside of my lip. I've got no hammer marks. My holes are good. So now the only thing that's left is my peripheral burrs, which are right here. It's mainly this one we need to watch out for. This edge here has a burr, and this edge here has a burr. So we're gonna get those off on the Scotch-Brite wheel. Okay. We'll come in, and I'm just gonna swipe it up. Okay, that got rid of that burr. Now to get rid of this burr, I'm going to draw it just like this. Okay, you see how it's all shiny now? And now I might come in at a slight angle, come in on the other angle, and now all of those burrs are gone. Now I'll hit the same thing on this side. So I'll come up against that edge that I couldn't hit earlier as best as I can, and then I'm gonna swipe it. Okay, now I'm gonna swipe it as I rotate through laterally. Okay, now all of those burrs are gone. The only thing left might be right there and right there, but that part is done. Okay, we'll see you in the next video.